The last game on Friday night will be played between Purdue and Houston. Purdue, to most people, a bit of a surprise that they're actually here. We expected them to see Clemson if they won their first round matchup against High Point. We expected Clemson in the second round, which we felt was a bit of a mismatch for them. However, they played McNeese, rolled them, shot the three with incredible efficiency. I don't know as if that's going to be the case here against Houston, obviously the number one defense in the country. And then on the flip side, you've got Purdue, who we've emphasized, allowing 70.2% in terms of close twos. And if you look at Houston, they've got like Jawan Roberts, who has one of the most lethal lefty hooks in the country. So I think that the physical dominance here of Houston, their size, their athleticism, their ability to shoot the ball, believe it or not, they're first in the country in 3-point percentage at 39.8%. And Purdue is going to give you those 3-point opportunities. And then, you look at Houston on the offensive glass, 11th in the country, Purdue 150th on the defensive glass. Like, they're going to be asking a lot of Trey Kaufman-Renn. I don't really think he's up for it here. I think it's just going to be way too physical. And if he is up for it on that end, it's going to wear him out to go play on the other end. And when he does get down on the other end, he's going to have to play against the number one defense in the country. So I just see a very difficult matchup here for Purdue, in particular, Trey Kaufman-Renn. And I think Houston kind of rolls here in this one.
Yeah, and it's a tough matchup for Braden Smith, too, because Houston doesn't really allow you to create anything in pick and roll, especially as a handler. They kind of filter everything more to the roll man, which is Trey Kaufman-Renn in this situation. So I think his Kaufman-Renn's passing ability is potentially something to look out for here. Hitting those weak side shooters of Heidi, Lawyer, and CJ Cox, they're all capable of knocking down shots at a high clip. And this defense sets up. It's a similar style to what McNeese did, but they're not going to give nearly as many open catch and shoot opportunities as McNeese gave up, and they don't switch everything. And Kaufman-Renn's not going to have nearly as efficient of a day in the post because McNeese just had no size to counter what Purdue was doing. All the switching just put a guard on Renn, and then he was able to just seal them and push them up towards the elbow, and he was able to just score at the rim very easily. You're not going to get that against a super athletic Houston defense that also has size up front. So it's going to come down to Lawyer, Heidi, Colvin, and Cox hitting 3-point shots, but they're going to be in worse spots here. So I hate how they match up really on the offensive end because Purdue has shown that they're susceptible to pressure regardless of what the turnover numbers look like season long. I mean, they're 81st in turnover rate on the offensive end, but they've shown real issues against this style of defense, like a Texas A&M style of defense that turned them over a bunch, and they really struggled to generate any sort of offense in that game. So, yeah, Houston's defense sets up well, as they pretty much do against everyone. And on the offensive end, I think they set up fairly well too. They can get all over the glass because I don't think Purdue is going to be able to play that too big lineup all that much because I think Painter's going to want to optimize the spacing on the offensive end. So he's going to play more Heidi over First because First doesn't space the floor at all. I don't think he's attempted a three in his career. What's that?
Or Berg.
Oh, yeah, no Berg. We don't need Berg in this game. I think he would get torched, especially off the bounce. I don't even want to talk about that guy. I don't know why he gets minutes at all. But, yeah, I don't think you're going to see a ton of Caleb First here. It's going to be more Heidi because Heidi is actually the better defensive rebounder as well. It's really hard to get on the offensive glass against Houston too. So I don't really see a spot for First to play. And that's going to hurt them defensively. Just having his size and rim protection would be really important for a team that already can't protect the rim. So Houston's offense sets up pretty well too. And I've talked about it a few times here, but Purdue is one of the luckier defenses in the country as well. Despite their defense regressing, I think they're due for even more regression on unguarded catch and shoot opportunities. They allow them in the 62nd percentile, and they're in the 93rd percentile when teams shoot those, which, I mean, unguarded catch and shoot chances are purely a luck stat. And so that just shows that they've been fairly lucky throughout the course of the season. You don't want to give up unguarded catch and shoot opportunities to Houston, who you mentioned is the best shooting team in the country by percentage. They don't love to shoot the three at a high volume, but if LJ Cryer, Uzan, and Emmanuel Sharp are given these opportunities, I trust them to knock them down at over a 45% clip, probably, if they're going to be open. And they all shoot over 42% on the season. So I don't really expect much else. And even if they're not knocking them down, like I said, they're going to be able to get all over the glass with Purdue's lack of size up front. So they match up perfectly on both ends of the floor. And I do think this can potentially be a runaway.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think those guys are going to be able to take and make a bunch of open threes, and if they don't, the physical dominance of Francis and Roberts and all those guys up front just going to be too much. So I think Houston runs away with it as well. So we're going to take all 4 1 seeds here to move on to the Elite Eight and maybe even to the Final Four. We'll see, depending on matchups. But Houston, the last of the 4 1 seeds to advance to the Elite Eight to take on the winner of Tennessee and Kentucky.